professionals. And today it is 21 professionals in 2021. And I have as my guest here today Kevin Horace Morrison. And we'll be talking with him for a little while to find out why is he a professional in 2021. Tell me, how would you describe yourself?
Thank you very much for having me, Golo. Well, I describe myself as a fun-loving, energetic, passionate young man who loves God, loves his family, and just loves to have fun.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So when I thought about doing this whole thing, I thought about you. Why? Because I think you epitomize what a professional is. I've seen you over the years, in your work sphere, just by being a technical manager and just doing a whole sort of thing, and you're just mentorship and development of individuals to reach their full potential. So tell me, how how do you think that you align to being a professional? So kind of walk me through, some of your experiences and things that have happened to you throughout the years of being in the work world, the adulting life.
Well, for me, I started working pretty early, and I think one of the things that I learned early on is that in order for you to be successful in whatever field that you're in, you have to acquire the requisite knowledge to set yourself apart as a professional in the field. Not doing what we call in Jamaica cobbler kind of work, but to ensure that you're whatever you're doing a particular level of excellence and you're demonstrating a requisite knowledge. So from early on, I've always been on a quest to ensuring that whatever I'm doing, I'm, I could be considered an expert in the field. So I've done a whole lot of research, reading, networking with other folks that are senior to me, getting their ideas and information in regards to stuff related to my field when I started. And from early on, I got opportunities and doors open because I pushed and challenged the status quo at the time in my early years.
Okay. I hear you mention about research. Do you think it's almost important or very important to kind of operate from a sphere of I don't really know anything, and so I must expand my knowledge as much as possible?
Well, Gola, one thing I learned in school that I took literally, heights of great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden, but they while their companions were upward toiling through the night. So when most of my friends spoke about enjoying this and enjoying that, I actually went home with books, documentation and manual from the different things that would relate to my field, and I was reading and researching, and so I believe that anybody who takes a positive, oh boy, I don't know, I don't know how to this, I don't know how to that, will not distinguish themselves as being um, a professional in their field, in my mind.
Okay, understand, understand. All right, so tell me, what is it that you're doing now in 2021?
Well, 2021, 2020 sort of moved me in a particular path that was not on my radar. So the latter part of 2020 to 2021 saw me going into agriculture. And I
Mm,
manage a company. I'm the general manager of our company, Pleasantville at Goshen, that focuses on basically farming and all the byproducts thereof. So I'm managing that outfit. So you mentioned earlier that I started out as a technician, transitioned into management, security consultant, security and risk management consultant, and now I'm in farming. So
okay.
that's where I'm at now. Actually enjoying it, loving it. I'm learning a whole lot of stuff, applying the management principles that I would have learned over the years being in management to this business and trying to sort of change how it is that people see and do farming in the 21st century.
Okay, interesting. So, how easy or how difficult was it for you to transition from security field to agriculture? Because that's a big jump in my estimation. So, how difficult or how easy was it for you to make that transition?
It was a little bit easy for me because as a security and risk management consultant, one of the things that we normally discuss is the matter of food security and how it is that countries and terrorists and other individuals can use your food supplier to or affect your food supply in a way that it affects an entire nation and country. So going into agriculture, you'd have known those things from your particular field, and yes, you learn some new stuff that you would have never dream of knowing before. But it it's sort of aligned itself for me. I've always loved farming, love to dabble. I consider myself a little farmer, backyard farming and planting up your pak chow and your lettuce and your tomato and whatever the case may be. So you see those things grow. So you always wanted to be doing this, but not seeing that you'd ever be thrown into this at this large scale, because what I do or what we do at Pleasantville is really to another level.
Okay. So you would consider yourself as having a green thumb then?
I would, in my mind.
In your mind. Okay. All right. So I had the opportunity of going to the farm, and we'll go to that video afterwards. But tell me, is there anything from your experience before that you were able to bring over to your now current position?
Well, in any operation, you have to look at how it is that you manage your systems and processes. And
Mm-hmm.
in security, it's something that is very critical for us to ensure that we meet requisite timelines and manage people and, different personalities and stuff. So all of that experience, I believe, helped me to sort of look at what it is that we're seeking to do and ensure that the relevant system and processes were put in place to enhance the operation, the efficiency of the operation that we are seeking to achieve at Pleasantville.
Okay, understand. All right, so tell me, what are some of the crops that you have on your field?
Well, we have a variety of crops. So we do both animals and crops. So we have rabbits
Okay,
and we have goats, what we call a graded herd, Nubian and Boer with our native goats. In regards to crops, I have sweet potato, sweet pepper, plantain, banana, pineapple, okra, string bean, tomato, scotch bonnet pepper, um, a large variety of stuff. We have cucumber. Um, so we seek to diversify our operation to ensure that we are doing different crops so that we can maximize on our output um, based on the crop cycle.
okay. All right. Also, I just want to get from you, what would you say are some of the challenges that you have experienced in going to being a general manager, going into this new field? Some of the obstacles and how you overcame them, right? Because really and truly, this is a segment to help persons become better, evolve, to expand, to grow. And so we really want to be able to give persons, like um key points, things that they can look out for. So what would you say was one of your biggest challenges and how you overcame it?
Well, I think in my mind is centralized access to information as somebody who um, would be considered new to farming. So information is available through the Ministry of Agriculture, rather. But
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the different things that you may be looking to do as a farmer in regards to crop management, all of that information is not centralized. What are the best
Okay.
practices? How do you go about doing irrigation? How do you go about plan what's the best kind of equipment to use, stuff of that nature. So you go in, you have an idea as to what are some of the things based on information that is there, but it doesn't say
Mm-hmm.
that these are the best options for you to utilize based on the topography of the land, based on your soil test analysis and all these kind of things. So you sort of, have to sort of pull on different persons all over to sort of get a handle if it is that you are not experienced in the field. One of the things that I think aided me is that I'm reasonably good at networking. So once
Okay.
I know how to reach out to different persons and different agencies, and thankfully I've been able to make contact with key personnel in the agricultural sector that has guided me to be able to get some of the information necessary to implement the different systems and processes to ensure that we are successful at what it is that we're looking to do.
Okay, okay. So I heard before from you about expanding your knowledge. Now I'm hearing about networking. And what I'm getting from you is that it's very important to expand the sphere of who you know so that you can be able to develop yourself and even be able to give back. And so for you, that's very important. Network, right?
Critical. It is said that the greatest resource that any company has or any individual really have is really the human resource. So
Okay.
the friends, the folks that you know, anything that you're looking to do, how it is that you can access information, how easily you can access information, where you can access that information from. Yes, you have Google and you have YouTube and all these kind of things, but sometimes when you need to get some practical experience based on what is happening in your geographical area or your country,
Mm-hmm.
have to ensure that you're speaking to the persons on the ground as to what are some of their experiences. Because oftentimes, especially with agriculture, you may see stuff online, but it is specific to a particular area, particular climate, particular geographical location. So sometimes stuff happens in your area that you need to be aware of that will help guide you as to how to plan for your crops, crop management, insects,
Mm-hmm.
stuff of that nature. So key is networking. I really don't believe that you can survive in the 21st century doing business or seeking to
Mm-hmm.
advance yourself without having a network of people around you, of like mind, or people who are ahead of you to help pull you to a particular level if it is that you're seeking to move up. Because somebody can't bring you to where they have not been before.
Right, right, right. And I think it's so important that, even as being in these different roles, being a professional, that we must look at being a leader, right? And an important part of being a leader, and as you mentioned before, human resource, and how it is that we manage human resource, how is it that we build relationships, how we network. It's so important. And 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 a lot of times what you find is that persons don't realize how important it is. We think that technology is so important and technology has taken over our lives. But a lot of times we are so cumbersome with social media and technology that we forget about relationships, right? And I don't know for you, but how is it in building relationship for the success of your business? How important is that, and how is it that you ensure that you are continually building relationship, not being engulfed with social media or with technology, but sort of just bridging that gap?
I think one has to understand how to effectively utilize technology, because in building some of these relationships, I've had to reach out to persons who I've never met before on social media through Facebook
Mm,
and Instagram and these. So you have farmers groups that are on Facebook and these other
okay.
things that, they share information and you can reach out. I've never met some of those folks before, but they have given me vital information in regards to different stuff that affects them in other areas of Jamaica, whether it be I farm in St. Catherine, other person in Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and all over. But,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing beats the personal interaction. So whilst you interact with someone online, when I go to a farm store, when I go to buy stuff at different places, whether hyper, whatever the case may be, just speaking to the different person, how you interact with them, and the relationship that you develop there and then that enables you to have a conversation with them even outside of their work environment, because of how it is
Right.
that first impression went, that first
Mm-hmm.
conversation went, you left an impression, and they, you can call me later, and that speaks a lot, that somebody saying you can call me to ask me anything you want to ask me outside of, because of what it is that they hear that you're doing or seeking to do, and they realize that you're passionate about it, and that's just it. So I've had situations where I've had issues with animals on the farm that I was able to call a doctor, a veterinarian outside of work hours.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got advice, persons came and dealt with what needed to have been dealt with. And the customer service was good, the interaction was good. And I believe it's just how it is that you related to folks, or I related to them, that sort of um, facilitated the interaction, because, like I said, I'm generally a fun-loving guy. I can be very serious and stern, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
generally a fun-loving guy.
Okay, okay. All right. So if you were able to have an audience of professionals in front of you, so whether working a 9 to 5 job or starting their own business or whatever the case might be, so you have a group of young professionals in front of you, what would be one of the most important things that you would tell them to say that, listen, This is vital. This is important. This is what is going to set you apart to be different and enable you to succeed in this very competitive world.
Don't stop evolving. Don't stop moving. One of the things that happens to us as young people, as the entrepreneurs, is that the circumstances of life comes down upon us and we become stagnant and we stop moving. You know, I heard a quote, I think it was from Elon Musk, that says, if you're an entrepreneur and you need encouragement, you're not an entrepreneur.
Mm.
So you have to be intrinsically motivated, and sometimes that is difficult because you're bombarded by the circumstances of life.
Right.
But you have to be able to look within yourself by the help and grace of God and say, look, if there's no one else there
Mm-hmm.
to encourage me on, I'm going to be my greatest fan. I'm going to be my biggest supporter. I'm going to speak to myself. You know, sometimes
Mm.
you get to a point where the masses around you are not saying what it is that you like to hear. Even in scripture, David found himself in a particular situation. The Bible said
Mm.
that David encouraged himself in the Lord, and those around him who should be encouraging him was in a similar situation and couldn't do so. So you have to sort of get to a place in your own mental state where you can push on regardless of what it is that the world may throw at you. So keep on moving.
Mm.
Whether
Keep
you
on
crawl,
moving.
creep, run, roll, walk, just continue to move.
Okay, just continue to move. And I think that's so important now, even in this pandemic situation and context, that if you don't believe in yourself enough and believe in what you are about, then you're going to fall under the pressure of everything that's going around. So you have to be self-motivated. I love that. Keep on moving, don't stop. If nobody else is encouraging you, wow, if nobody else is encouraging you. And that just triggers something in my mind when I thought that mental strength is so important and we don't even realize how important it is and we don't highlight it enough. You've got to have the mental capacity to know that even if 10 persons telling you you can't do it and you're the only one believing that yes, it can be done, keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Keep moving forward.
it's actually very important, and sometimes it is through reading. You know, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, so it is through prayer, reading the word, meditation that you know, I help to keep myself balanced. But I've had my fair share of beatings in life, in regards to different
Right.
situations that have come up on me, and you know, I thought that I wouldn't have come out of it. You know, I would have been in this state or that state, and
Mm-hmm.
in those times, you know, I have to pull it together and encourage myself to press on. And every single occasion, I must tell you that God has shown up for me. And if I tell you some of my backstories as to how it is that I arrive at where I'm at now, you'd be amazed. But all I can say is that it is by the grace of God and perseverance that I've been able to make it through.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so guys, we are going to go to the farm. That was the exciting part for me. I really loved it, and you will get to see what happens on Pleasantville Farm on a day-to-day basis, and kind of get a snippet of farming life.
Just the view alone, just the rustic look alone is
Right.
very nice. So we're not going to be trying to clean up too much of the leaves on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I want that true rustic feeling.
Okay.
To the side, you notice see some black bags over there.
Right.
So coming down on this side, we're going to be opening this section of the pasture. It's actually a nature trail.
Okay.
So if you enter from the top,
Mm-hmm.
and you exit all the way around it. So we're going to clear this here. But where you see the black bag, we have a lot of fruit trees planted, guava, and we have cherry, we have apple trees.
Okay.
So that can be a little walk. Like kind of, while you're looking at the goats feeding, somebody who come in and want to see what is happening in regards to agriculture from that particular perspective, livestock. And we're seeing the goats, they can be picking some stuff and feeding the goats on that side, because all of what is over here, mulberry bush, not mulberry plant, all mulberry trees, all those kind of things would be on this side. So you can easily just interact with the goats and walk the nature trail. You can either walk from here, come back up and enter the trail from there. You can enter from the top, come down and walk here, because all over here we're going to be doing some renovations and stuff to this particular area.
I hear you say fruits, right? Are you thinking of doing any value added end product kind of a thing where you're probably going into, I don't know, natural juices or something to that sort?
You know,
Or are you only looking at the very first end of the production line where it is just providing the fruits, the crops, etc.?
you know, we seek to be a full service organization. So from the ground to the plate, if you want to call it that, you know, we're looking at ensuring that we cater or we fulfill the needs in every single area.
Okay.
One of the things that I've come to realize in the short time that I've been doing this thing and the research
Which
that
is
I've
how
done,
long?
I've really gone into agriculture since December of last year.
Okay.
In regards to, you know, take it on in the nature that I'm doing it now. But I've been doing a lot of research. I started pushing regards to my network because I'm big on networking. So within that short space of time, I've been dealing with a lot of the key players from different suppliers. So I've met with different suppliers, not just dealing with farm trade, but I've gone to the suppliers because of what it is that we're looking to do to sort of make the relevant network, create the relevant networks and develop relevant relationships so we can really make an impact. There's one thing that I don't understand. It's a concern for me that we have so much land, and when you look at the soil that we have in Jamaica, it is said to be one of the most potent or fertile soil from an agricultural standpoint. But yet still, we're not focusing on agriculture.
Okay.
You know? You were here earlier, well, later when I'm talking to you in regards to my security background. So we deal with security. But one of the things that people don't think about is food security. Food security. Any government, any terrorist, anybody who seeks to do anything against any nation can easily affect them through their agricultural processes or through food. So food security is something that becomes very important for every and any nation who is serious about sustaining their own livelihood to be thinking about.
Yeah, because you want to put in processes to ensure that 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, we are self-sufficient as a country to feed the generation that's coming.
If you go back to the Joseph principle, back in the Bible, you know, that's one of the things that came about in that particular time when there was a time of lack.
Right.
What did he put in place to ensure that when that time, so the grains were there to be planted, storage was there, because you're looking at food security. Something that I've heard in the circles, I've discussed it in my security groupings and stuff like that. But whether or not we are serious about it as we should,
right,
I don't think we are.
Okay.
I don't think we are. So this is trail. So when you look back up that side, you know, so when we cut away, you're gonna get a nice view. So we're gonna create a nice little arch or just a statement piece up there.
Right.
Coming up, so you see whether it is gonna be the name of the farm or stone wall or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Yeah. So we have big plans.
So in terms of the planning process and just, you know, hearing you map out the whole place, what it is that you want to do, was this something that really came from the owner, or is it that you sit down, plan out your thing, not waiting on owner to tell you, but you're looking at the bigger picture to get things done?
Well, the vision was cast by our principal or managing director as to what it is that they're looking to see happen with the property. And basically, I'm working with implementing on a phase basis that which was communicated. So you get the broader context of what it is that we're looking to do.
Right.
And of course, from an operational standpoint, you put in a different mechanism to ensure that we're able to achieve those. As our one would manage a project, basically project management, looking at your scope of the project, timeline, and putting all those factors in place to ensure that you can deliver on the different things based on the time projected for each stage
Okay.
or each item that was
So
given
you
to you.
basically got the big blueprint of what it is that needs to be done, or what's the vision, and then now you're looking at the different individual projects in order to get the big blueprint, the big vision executed.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. In regards to our goats, we had another area which was much smaller that we have that they were in. We're looking to deal with their nutrition and ensuring that they are properly taken care of. So that was said to me that we need to ensure that the goats are being properly taken care of. When I did my research, I look at the space and realized that we needed more space for pasture. So the area that you're seeing now, that is there, was created in the last month, and we have 2 sections, and we're going to be planting a variety of grass, African star, king grass, some Guinea grass and stuff, so that the goats are able to go in there and graze.
Okay.
So the vision is to increase the nutrition of the goats. Then one of the things that I would have implemented is to ensure that pastures are in place to plant and for them to be able to get areas to go and graze. So within the next couple of weeks, if you should come back here, you're going to see now all that looking green.
Okay.
Because we're going to be planting grass and ensuring that we have the area properly set up for them to be able to graze. And as you know, you see a partition there. It's to ensure that we can rotate from one pasture to the next. And we have another section up the top, and we're going to be doing a further bank that we can grow some grass outside of the pasture, so we can either cut and carry them for them to be able to eat.
Okay. All right. I hear you talking about different projects that you're doing in order to realize the bigger plan. How important is timeline? Because there are some people who says timeline is just a guideline. If I miss it, that's just that. But how important is timeline for you in an industry that is very time sensitive, because you want to ensure that your crops are reaped within a specific time, etc. The bigger plans, how important is your timeline?
In farming, it is critical. It's critically important. I'm giving an example. You have to understand your planting time, season, and ensure that you're sticking to the requisite timelines in regards to different crops that you're doing. I'm sure you would have heard on the news that in Christmas, tomato was at what? Anywhere from $400 to probably $700 per pound, depending on the market.
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
Don't eat tomato again.
Very expensive. But now, tomato is between $20 and $50 a pound, depending on where you go. Now imagine a farmer who would have been saying, okay, you know, I'm going to be planting tomato now so I can catch the price. If you don't understand the time it takes to do the seedling, the time it takes for the crop to come, and the shift that may happen in the market based on the fact that there's a shortage, and if there's a shortage, a lot of other farmers will be planting, and there's just going to be a glut on the market.
Right.
You spend money and invest money to do tomatoes, only to be selling tomatoes when you are through at $20 and $30 a pound. So you have to establish your timeline for planting, for your crops, looking at the season, and for some other, depending on the areas that you have a lot more rainfall in different areas. You have to look at the crops to ensure that, okay, you're not going to be affected by the rainfall, you're not going to be affected by the drought. So a lot of times, because I'm based on my background in regards to project management and security and all these kind of stuff, you look at these things in detail, and applying that particular process and methodology for farming, you have to do the same thing. So now we have to look at how it is that we ensure, and we're not always going to get it right, because different factors will affect what it is that you're doing, but you have it done as best as possible,
Right.
to a science.
Okay. How do you manage timeline with human resources? Because I know sometimes human resources is one of the greatest factors in throwing things totally off course. Whether man tired, whether man saying there's not enough resources, whether there isn't proper communication, how do you manage that?
Well, I must tell you, Mrs. Keith, that's a very, very, very big challenge.
Okay.
And we have some good workers on our team, and we continue to try and improve through training, meetings, mentoring, and other forms of development to get the folks to where it is that would believe that they need to be. But sometimes, if somebody don't have the right attitude towards learning or the
Right.
different things, they will throw things off and the whole work ethic. So we have had some challenges in the past, but it's critical because sometimes you would have given an instruction based on your research and what it is that you would have had in place for different things to be done within a particular time. The employee may not realize how their lack of fulfilling that particular function or thing
Right.
affects something else. So they say, okay, I had it 3/4 done. The rest can stay until tomorrow. But then tomorrow is going to affect something else.
Something else, right.
So it becomes a big problem because a lot of persons, especially if it is that they have any kind of experience in farming, thinks that they know. But one of the things I've learned is that farming in my backyard and farming from a commercial basis, it's two
different things.
different kind of things. Two different. As far as the east is from the west, and a lot of things affect you. Your geographical location, whether or not you have a lot of farmers around you, will increase your pest management program. A lot of other things that you have to factor in. So it's as if you're doing a lot of calculation in regards to the issues that will affect you.
Right.
You're actually doing some risk assessment and putting mitigation mitigating for those risks and all those kind of things because it is challenging. But we believe that we need to continue to train and from the get-go just try and employ the right personnel. We run a very rigorous process when it comes down to our selection in regards to interviews and stuff of that nature. And I believe that through that particular method that we use from the get-go, we will not always filter out persons with a particular temperament or mindset, but will be at a particular advantage going into them coming on the farm, and then we can, through supervision, management, and different processes that we have in place, get things to where we need to get it to. One of the things that we're keen on is that we seek not to manage people, but we want to be managing processes and systems. So you get into managing people is a stress. So you put the systems and processes in place,
And you manage the system and the process.
and you manage the system.
Makes sense. So that you don't spend too much time trying to ensure that the human resources together, but you monitor that, you organize, you coordinate, and ensure that those specific things have the timeline, and those specific things must be met within a specific timeline.
Correct.
I really loved it. I really hope that I can actually get the opportunity to probably spend some more time on the farm because boy, this farming thing really interesting. I learned a lot there. What I want to find out though from you, are you on social media? And how is it that persons can get in contact with you? Because say they want to, purchase anything from your farm, how do they reach out to Pleasantville?
All right, so we are currently going through the process of setting up our social media handles for Pleasantville at Goshen. But if persons are in need of any supplies, they can reach out to me on Facebook, Kevin H. Morrison. I'm on Instagram. You can search me up if you type in Kevin H. Morrison in Google. I'm certain that you will find me. So you can hit me up. We seek to do wholesale supplies. So persons wholesale and retail, but we cater mainly to the wholesale market, and we are doing a whole lot of stuff. We're going to be putting in some melon and some sweet corn. We're serious about ensuring.
Don't forget me with the melon.
We are feeding the nation, and it's very important. I believe that every single individual. I've heard the government say it before, but if you have space in your yard, if you don't have space, you can get buckets and pans and what the case may be. Plant something. It is critically important for us to understand that we cannot be dependent on other countries to be for us to be importing food or sending us stuff in Jamaica and all these kind of things. Jamaica is so rich in relation to natural resources, but yet still we are unable to supply food for ourselves.
That's so true. That's so true. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate the fact that you have come here to kind of, express to us, about the farm and about a little about you, right? And just about what it is that you're doing, how it is that you're evolving. And I have learned a lot, and I really, really appreciate this interview. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And if there's anyone that you know that is a professional in 2021 and you think that they would be great to be a part of this segment, just please leave the comments in the box below. Thank you so much, guys. And until next time, this is your DIY professional saying that you can do it because it's time to become the best version of you. Bye.